From the Joy News Center. This is News at 8.
Welcome to the Primetime News Bulletin here on Joy News on Multi-TV, also available across Europe via London-based ABN Television. Coming up, police statistics indicate reduction in crime in Accra, officials say, is due to increased police presence. Monetary Policy Committee of Bank of Ghana maintains policy rate at 18%. Judgment Debt Commission calls off Wednesday sitting after no show by 3 scheduled witnesses. Telecom operators blame fake and substandard mobile phones for poor quality service. And individuals and businesses advised to insist on genuine product and warranty guarantees when making purchases. There's more business news, sports, showbiz, and international news coming up in the next 60 minutes. Do stay.
News at 8 with Israel Lai.
Now, the Accra Region Police arrested 18 robbery suspects in the first 3 months of 2014, compared to the 81 arrests made over the same period last year. The figures, according to the police, suggest a sharp decline in crime in Accra. Accra Region Police Commander DCOP Christian Tete Yohunu, however, says the service is not relenting and seriously working to frustrate criminals from operating in the city.
We're in control of the security situation, and then robbery continued to decline. You know, sometimes within a period of 1 week, there's not a single robbery. So whatever happens, even one isolated incident that will happen, we are very serious with it. I myself, my deputy, my crime officer, and all officers, we don't sleep. Our machines are always with us, monitoring where we even hear, so that if immediately a message comes even to the communication center, and then there's a delay in the patrol team moving, then we come in quickly to tell you, what are you doing?
As proof of their commitment to rid the region of crime, the Accra Region Police arrested 2 young men in 2 separate operations. The first suspect, a young man said to be recruiting people for criminal purposes, was arrested on 29th March upon a tip-off.
We found 2 pistols, 1 revolver and another one locally made. They were retrieved from him. And he said he bought it from a gentleman from Kokumba Market. The other suspect is being pursued.
The other suspect, Kweku Denchi, was arrested at Abose Okai in an attempt to sell a pump-action gun he stole from his aunt.
He admitted that he stole the pump-action gun for the auntie's room. What he was going to use the pump-action gun for, whether he was going to give it to a group of gang members, it is something that the police are investigating. But based on his own plea, he was sent to court and then pleaded guilty and was sentenced to 5 years imprisonment.
The police have also retrieved a motorbike, a pump-action gun with serial number ADD 226762, and 3 cartridges when they attempted to arrest 2 young men who sped off upon spotting a police patrol team at Adabraka Farisco. The Accra Region Police Commander urged the public to be extra vigilant as criminals are devising new and improved ways of committing crime.
People think that by having electric fence, that prevents criminals from coming to your homes. People also rely on their dogs, that having got these things is enough. Sometimes the dogs are poisoned in advance. Yes, we also talk of metal doors, protecting your doors. The criminals that come these days, they are the artisans. So you see them using, big hammers to break your burglar-proof windows by chiseling the wall. It will take time, but they still persevere to come into your room. So don't think you are fully covered when you have all these things securing your house. The most important thing is that get the police emergency line.
The proliferation of poor quality and fake mobile phones could be blamed for the poor mobile phone service subscribers are having to endure. Network operators at the Telecoms Forum are therefore appealing to subscribers to check the authenticity of their mobile handsets before purchasing them.
When you bring counterfeit phones into the country, what it does is that it puts a lot of strain on the telcos, because those handsets drain a lot of our network resources. I've read about countries like Kenya, one country in the east, that have totally banned those counterfeit phones in the country. And I think that's where, from a regulator point of view, from a chamber point of view, we need to make that decision to say, do we allow those handsets into the market, or we place an ultimate ban on those handsets?
The forum was on the theme, our customers need to know. Representatives from MTN, Vodafone, Airtel and Tigo answered a myriad of questions from the public on current challenges in the telecommunications sector.
What is called the caps, I don't think it's fair, because that is not the practices that is around even some areas in Africa, where prices have gone up, but the liberty to browse unlimited for a month is taken away from me. You claim you're giving me more data. Do I really need it? The question is, allow me to browse unlimited for 1 month for the higher fee. So I think it's something that we need to look into it again. As to, yes, if you want to charge 100 Ghana, let me browse unlimited for 1 month.
What we have done as an industry is to create packages and solutions that addresses a customer need. If the customer says, for instance, that his appetite is for social life plans, he wants WhatsApp, he wants Twitter, he wants to browse, he's looking for other tracking applications, we have a platform that allows him to do unlimited with it, because the consumption that comes with those bundles are very small.
Why is it that sometimes my credit is being deducted when I have data and I'm browsing? The data bundle is not deducted, but my credit is.
You buy within a product within a particular duration. So you give us 40 Ghana cedis telling us, give me 2 gig of data for 30 days. You pay 2 cedis telling us, give me 150 megabytes of data per day, based on your need and based on the selection that you made. So you can't say, this is 40 Ghana cedis, give me...
Does it cost you any more if the data exists for more than 30 days?
Well, definitely there are cost components to it. But however...
Is it not just to force us to buy more? Because, I think that this explanation doesn't work. I have bought 40 Ghana cedis of data, and you are telling me that I have to use it in 30 days. Even though my usage, I can use it for 3 months. After 30 days, it expires and I have to buy 40 again. And you are telling me you are selling the 40 and the 1 month.
Man, just look at it this way. You are only one person that says, I want to do this. There are students in that says, I want to do my work for only 2 days. There are market women that says, I want to check this product on the internet for only today. The guy who doesn't need a 30-day data will not subscribe to a 30-day data.
Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Telecoms Chamber, Kweku Sechiado, called on the public to partner the various telcos to help improve the quality of service delivery.
This was an opportunity to bridge the gap between network operators and their consumers, to help consumers understand how the service that we give them gets to them, what some of the challenges that we face are, but to listen to them, and if there are certain things that we can work on, that we sit together, we consider them, and each network operator go and work towards providing even better service to their consumers.
He also advised customers to immediately contact the various telcos when experiencing network challenges for immediate redress.
While individuals and businesses are being advised to insist on warranty guarantees and also try and authenticate the products they buy to ensure they don't fall victim to pirated items which do not come from the original manufacturer. The caution sounded by stakeholders at a forum organized by the Ghana-German Economic Association comes at a time counterfeiting is said to be on the rise. Gifty Ando-Apia has more.
Product imitation and pass-offs have been a bane of industry, with China identified as the biggest culprit and factory for most of them. Speakers at the Ghana-German Economic Association, who emphasized on electronics, ICT and industrial goods, as well as consumables, complained about the phenomenon and the need for more vigilance. Managing Director of Compu Ghana, Saeed Masri, said the simplest ways of detecting counterfeit is applying what he calls common sense.
IT products counterfeit have increased from 5% up to 30% in 2013. This is again due to the corruption system, due to a lot of deals happening at customs, at borders. $3 billion is the counterfeit ink and toner globally. 70% is coming out of China. And 60% is smuggled into Africa. Know your source. Know from who you are buying. Is he a genuine partner? Is he an authorized partner? Does he have warranties? Does he give support? Or he will tell you, no, I'm saving some money on you, but there's no warranty on the item.
Others were of the opinion that businesses should seek out those who bootleg their products and report them for appropriate sanctions, because the Ghana Standard Authority lacks enforcement power in the law which set it up. Whilst participants insisted that the Ghana Standards Authority has not been proactive enough in clamping down on counterfeits at source, Head of Scientific Metrology at DSA, Paul Date, noted the system to check counterfeiting, among others, may be slow but aimed at perfection eventually, adding institutions can perform better with cooperation from the public.
We do not always wait for people to come to us. Sometimes we get to them. In other situations, they also come to us. Our systems are being improved. As the years go by, government is continuously fine-tuning the process. And I know definitely we will get there.
President of the GGEA, Stephen Enchi, said the association intends to influence policy decisions with outcomes of this forum.
We're going to gather all the presentations, really make a summary of a lot of the questions and contributions that came in, and we send it to government to take a look at it. And we will continue to highlight them. One thing we do is that once we send it and we don't see any action, we don't just rest on our laurels. We would stand on the rooftops and talk about it. And it's going to get to a point where you will feel a little bit icked and you say, these people are bothering me. Let me do something. And so we get some response, some attempt to respond to it.
Consensus agreement of the forum to check counterfeiting were massive education, awareness creation, enhancing security feature controls, and intergovernmental partnerships to effectively stop counterfeits at the various borders. Gifty Ando-Apia, Joy News, Accra.
President John Mahama is calling for flexibilities that will further boost trade between West Africa and Europe. The current ECOWAS chair made the call during talks with European Commission President Jose Manuel Barroso at the EU-Africa Summit currently underway in Brussels, Belgium.
Officials at the presidency say the discussion between the two leaders was generally aimed at deepening relations between Ghana and the European Union. Discussing the EPA, which the ECOWAS heads refused to sign, President Mahama said the flexibility will ensure that trade between the two sides are not disrupted in the interim. President Mahama is said to have urged the EU to disburse a €64 million multi-donor budget support to Ghana. The support has been held back due to issues with some fiscal policies. On his part, Manuel Barroso called for a sustained effort to address the country's current fiscal challenges, adding the EU will continue to strengthen its relations with Ghana. He congratulated President Mahama on his election as ECOWAS chair, describing it as good news for West Africa and its relations with the EU. President Mahama and Jose Barroso also discussed the situation in Mali and EU support in consolidating peace in that country, and further exchanged views on the upcoming elections in Guinea-Bissau.
We have more news coming up after the break. Stay tuned. Environmental health assistants who completed the Tamale School of Hygiene some 5 years ago have accused the current principal of making unauthorized deductions from their salaries through the Controller and Accountant General. The affected graduates, numbering about 800, say 200 Ghana cedis is deducted at source each month since January this year without their consent. They have warned they will lay down their tools if the deductions are not reversed in 15 days. Rafiq Salam's report from WA.
The national spokesperson for the association, Tahiru Lukman, stated they have worked tirelessly to uplift the image of the institution, yet they have been used for debt servicing by the current principal.
We are faced with 200 Ghana cedi monthly deduction as government salary overpayment recovery. The base of deduction is not clearly defined. There is no letter to that effect. We do not know when these deductions are going to stop and how much have been alleged and which account is debited. We have made all effort to establish the claim from Controller and Accountant General Department, the Audit Service, Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development, and our effort was frustrated by the current principal. The simple question is, if it is a just cause, why should he rush to Accra on Amtrak Ghana Limited flight to cover his tracks?
They allege that they have ample evidence the same members of staff are colluding with the principal in the act. They estimate that a total of 535,800 Ghana cedis has so far been deducted for the first 3 months of this year.
Clearly attests to the fact that the deduction is not justified. The audit unit in Tamale have underscored that it has to do with the 49 Ghana cedi allowance we enjoyed until our posting. But the simple question is, why are our colleagues in other sister training institutions, including School of Hygiene Hope and other nursing training institutions, not affected? The principal equally removed his allies, friends, and relative name from the total list of 900 to 893 officers.
They called on the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development, Ministry of Health, Controller and Accountant General, and the Audit Service to come to their aid, else they will lay down their tools.
Take our issue in a civil manner and conduct ourselves in accordance with all laws of Ghana. However, we are willing to lay down our tools as practicing officers if our issues are not addressed amicably.
How many are you all?
Yeah, for now.
The year, how many are you?
Yeah, 893. 900. 900. Yeah, the year affected group. We are supposed to be 900.
Now, for those living in urban areas, attending nature's call or the availability of basic amenities is usually a given. But for those in typical rural dwellings, such as Tenkwanta, a small farming community in the Kwapim North municipality of the Eastern region, these amenities are usually luxuries. So guess what? The Tenkwanta residents want government to provide them with toilet, clinic, and a market. Haruna Yusuf Umpuni reports.
Tenkwanta is predominantly a farming community with a population of about 1,800, with about 1,200 registered voters. The residents are mainly engaged in farming activities and petty trading, with a handful of them being hairdressers and the likes. For many of the residents, such as Lawal, Michael, and Margaret Manubia, the lack of basic amenities in the community suggests to them they have been left out in the share of the national cake. They complain that nothing has been done for them in the last 20 years. Speaking to Joy News, the chief of Tenkwanta community, Nene Aite Na the First, highlighted their needs, with a health center as one of the most important. According to the chief, anytime somebody falls sick in the community, the person will be rushed to Koforidua Central Hospital for treatment.
Ye pese bibia ban be kanu ye wa ha. Ye vote kura doso e wo kura mu papa. Ebi no afiri kura ba ha no. Edu tama ye be vote a be hwe kura. Ebi no janda mu kura na wo ye wu. O janda mu no wu a ehin na edi ni be ko. Sabre na bia ne ka mai. Na ye wo clinic ni bi wa ha e be boa papa ama ye. Aban bo mo de wo be hwe ye. Ya de ye mobo ye free politics ya say ye gwa won a che papa Kwame Nkrumah bleso be pim ne ye hu te.
Haruna Isif Rumpines report from the Eastern region.
Witnesses scheduled to appear before the Judgment Debt Commission Wednesday, April 2, failed to turn up, forcing the commission to call off the day's sitting. After waiting for about an hour and a half, the sole commissioner, Justice Yao, apologetically dismissed the media. This is the second time all invited witnesses have failed to appear before the commission since hearings started in November 2012.
The Attorney General's Department, Ministry of Roads and Highways and the Lands Commission were to provide the Commission with information regarding the award of judgment debts to a construction firm for the abrogation of contract, as well as government acquisition of land from a family at McCarthy Hill in Accra. All three witnesses did not show up to the disappointment of the Commission.
So today we are expecting the Chief Director from the Ministry of Roads and Highways. We served the office and nobody is here. We don't know why. About 4 witnesses today, but none of them has surfaced. The Chief Director has not surfaced. We've tried to get in touch with the ministry. All calls have not been received. So the phone has been ringing and there's no response.
Counsel for the Commission, Dometi Kufisokwo, indicated though 2 of the witnesses wrote to excuse themselves, the Commission may not meet its deadline due to failure of some witnesses to appear.
It's impacting negatively to some extent, but that is not to say that if all these witnesses do not come, the witnesses who are supposed to come do not come, that would halt our work in any way. We will still move on. Our record keeping in this country is bad. So you must take that into account when you are asking people to come before you and produce documents.
The sole commissioner said the 3 will be subpoenaed again to appear on April 15 to assist in its investigation. Matilda Pamaga for Joy News, Accra.
The Monetary Policy Committee of the Bank of Ghana has maintained the benchmark interest rate, the policy rate, at 18%. In arriving at that decision, the MPC cited heightened inflationary pressures due to the periodic increases in fuel and utility prices and currency depreciation among some of the factors.
The MPC made it clear that inflation, which is now 14%, will only return to the target band of 9.5% towards the end of the first half of 2015. The committee also admitted that the cedi had fast depreciated in the first quarter of the year, hitting a record 17.6%. Concerned about the waning consumer and business confidence in the economy following these developments, among others, the MPC therefore decided to maintain the policy rate.
Disruptions in the energy sector and utility price shocks, as well as falling gold production and prices, took their toll on growth in 2013. Consequently, growth is expected to stay below par in 2014. The committee was also concerned about the waning consumer and business sentiments, as well as tightened credit conditions that could impact on the outlook. The risks to inflation remain high. However, the committee is of the view that the impulses from the recent monetary policy hike are still working through the system, and therefore decided to maintain the policy rate at 18%.
The committee noted that although vulnerabilities still remain, the new forex measures have slowed the rate of the currency depreciation.
The forex measures were meant to correct, the way we do business in foreign exchange in this country. The their effects will be felt over a longer period. The important thing now is to address the liquidity issues, which have partly been the result of us not achieving our deficit targets and so on. The preliminary effect we see is that there has been some reduction in the monthly rate of depreciation since the measure was introduced. Maybe after 3 months, we'll do a review of it and see whether there are some unintended adverse effects. And so, and based on that, we'll take a decision.
Although hoping the new measures will correct some anomalies in the system while they work on getting the economic fundamentals right, the MPC insisted that a strict adherence to the 2014 budgetary estimates is critical for macroeconomic stability. Abigail Adumakwenchi, Joy News.
Right, George Yafe was at the MPC News Conference and joins me with more on what the governor had to say about the health of the economy. Now, the governor put the depreciation of the Ghana cedi in the first 3 months at 17%. That's pretty high. And yet he maintains that the measures they've put in place are working.
I mean, what he was trying to say was that it could have been worse had it not been these measures. So the pace of depreciation has slowed down, and he thinks that they need a little bit of time to help the situation stabilize.
Did he state probably the percentage decline, since they instituted the measures and now?
I mean, you started about a month, and that thing didn't come out. That didn't come out clearly. The measures were introduced by February 4, but that didn't come out clearly in his presentation. But 17% may be just -6 or something. So still, that is high. And he thought that the figure could have been higher than what we're seeing right now had it not been these measures. So again, a lot of people were really concerned. But again, the question was, how or when do you expect to review these measures? And he was saying that they're looking at the end of this month, maybe whether it has achieved the result. By the end of this month, he's achieved the results, and therefore they will waive some of these measures. There were also concerns about whether indeed additional measures are needed to stabilize the situation. He didn't think so, Israel.
Okay. Now, how about the public debt? Because there's been concern that the public debt is rising.
Interesting.
And, there's been talk about whether we should take more loans or, we should be measured in the amount of loans we're taking. What did the governor have to say about that?
Well, he put the figure as at the end of February at almost 55 billion Ghana cedis. Now, if you look at what we had in December and do the computation, just about 2 months, we've added almost a little over 4 billion Ghana cedis to the public debt. I mean, I put the question to him about the concerns that these debt levels are shooting up to levels where it's unsustainable. But he thought that really there's no cause for alarm. He thinks that government is working to correct or embark on some fiscal consolidation, and it should address the problem. But there are some industry watchers and analysts who obviously might disagree with the governor.
What has been his reaction to recent commentaries about the economy? For instance, what Fitch had to say, and the downgrading.
The outlook, basically downgrading our outlook from stable to minus. He thought that Fitch didn't look at the whole picture, and that if they took their time to look at what government has done over the period, he didn't think that that downgrade of our outlook was necessary. So he also had some concerns with that one particular one, Israel.
All right. Thank you very much, George Yafe. So George Yafe was at the MPC News Conference, and he was bringing us some details as to what the governor said and what actually transpired there. An international NGO, World Vision, has donated health equipment worth 180,000 Ghana cedis to the Jarapa and Adoli hospitals. There are 2 electronic machines, some theatre equipment, and non-consumable drugs. Others are biology books, including the Teacher's Guide for both students and teachers at the senior high school level. Rafiq Salam's report from Jarapa in the Upper West region.
The Jarapa District Chief Executive Vivienne Nelly Kunku for onward delivery to the beneficiary organizations. The Jarapa Area Development Program Manager of World Vision, Francis Mensah, said the gesture is part of the organization's efforts towards enhancing quality healthcare delivery in rural and deprived communities. He said World Vision believes that the challenges confronting the health and educational sectors were so numerous that government alone cannot shoulder, hence the need for partners to support. The Jirapa District Chief Executive Vivian Nelly Kunku expressed gratitude to the organization for the kind gesture, stating that it is the kind of support government requires from the private sector to up the living standards of the people. She appealed to the Director of Jirapa District Health and Education Directorate, Phoebe Balangunyentumi and Dominica Dasa, respectively, to ensure that the items are maintained and put to judicious use.
I will ask all the heads of department what kind of little thing they are doing for you. We should put it to good use and manage the team very effectively to make it sustainable for the others to also come and see the good works of other civil societies that may be coming into the district.
The Jirapa District Health Director, Phoebe Balangunyetumi, on behalf of the beneficiary organizations, stated that the donation of the equipment was timely, as it will ensure proper examination of patients, while the books will promote the study of science at the senior high level in the district.
So promising that whatever we have received, we will make sure that we use it to provide quality care, client-friendly services to the vulnerable population, because people in this part of the country are really deprived. And just seeing these things and making them very comfortable alone is enough to get them cured of their diseases. Because World Health says that it's not just the the absence of disease, but the psychological aspect, the physical aspect, and everything is very important.
Rafiq Salam's reports from Jirapa in the Upper West region.
Up next, we bring you business news.
So here is where we bring you up to speed with business reports. My name is Abigail Adomakwenchi. First off, a researcher at the Ghana Atomic Energy Commission, Professor J.K. Abo, has made a strong case for nuclear energy as a solution to Ghana's unstable electricity supply challenges. He was speaking at a public lecture organized by the Graduate Students Association of the University of Ghana, Lagos.
The nuclear energy alternative, which will deal with Ghana's energy crisis, will only be successful through strong government support.
For we, in effect, for 24/7, 365 days, I can expect hot, only 100 megawatts power. To get Ghana out, then the only option is to go hot, nuclear. We are putting in place measures to introduce that into Ghana's energy mix, so that we can have solar, we can have thermal, we can have what? Hydro, and we can have even, if we get geothermal, we can put in. Will Ghana be successful? Yes, no, depending on what. Government, number one, because I say nuclear power is what? A political science, not a pure science. So strong political support, and it's a 100-year journey. That when you build a plant, it will be there.
President of the Graduate Students Association of Ghana, Ernest Victor Apau, said the lectures were organized to address the ongoing doomsaw crisis.
These days are days of doomsaw. Now, it is not only this time that we are seeing it, but it's becoming more serious, because one would suggest that as days come by, we are able to surmount our energy challenges. However, we are not able to do it the way expected. So if there are possibilities for nuclear, that the debate is not going much to achieve, as you've also listened to the speaker, who suggested that there have been several attempts, and on 3 occasions the bill was laid at Parliament to have been prepared, discussed, and passed into a law, but it failed because of lack of political will. Then you can so much appreciate what we are talking about.
The association also organized public lectures to address other topics of public interest.
Hook, line, and
The prevailing high cost of living in the country has forced government to temporarily freeze the implementation of new taxes on petroleum products. Joy Business gathers that managers of the economy are worried about the impact on consumers if the ad valorem tax on petroleum products is implemented. For instance, if the tax was factored into yesterday's adjustments, prices would have gone up by between 10 and 20%. The about 1 to 6% tax should have been added to the 4 price reviews undertaken since January. However, the National Petroleum Authority has failed to do. This would affect government's revenue mobilization, with the country hoping to gross about 200 million Ghana cedis from the tax. So we'll still stay on petroleum prices. You know that the prices for petroleum has been reviewed upward by 7%, and transport operators are yet to increase their fares following this upward adjustment of petroleum prices by 7%. Although they expect the new fares to be released tomorrow, that's April 2, they want authorities to release the fare chart immediately prices are reviewed in order for them not to make losses. Let's watch this.
A litre of petrol now costs 2 cedi 73 pesos, with diesel selling at 2 cedi 79 pesos. With such development, it is usual for transport operators to immediately adjust the fares they charge, but that is yet to happen this time. Others, although prepared to pay more for transport, still wish the fares remain the same. But for operators, albeit they have to endure the situation for now, a new fare chart is all they need to make up for their loss.
Because I think it's simple for so although passes bebre shockers over so them tono then me can say fuel and kwana de car nam so and I say bad say ukwa so kan ya to be biem even car na kwampo expect say yan 26 mo mano so them tono and to na ko balance and about say driver ni be ya aduma obey ya aduma 1000 years from no that sugina square one.
When they increase the petrol, they will wait for some time before you also increase. You see, to go and buy it high and come and take the same fare, I think is bad. So far as the petrol increase go, the fare also should go and once.
So you want them to release the fare chart immediately the petroleum prices go up?
Yes, madam.
Meanwhile, the various transport unions have made it clear an upward adjustment of the fares is inevitable, but are yet to settle on the percentage to base the increment on. Abigail Adumakwenchi for Joy News.
And that'll be all for business. My name is Abigail Adumakwenchi. Sports is up next.
Asante Kotoko coach Masao Didi Dramani is set to lead the Porcupine Warriors at the end of the current season after talks to extend his contract broke down.
Didi Dramani, who is on the verge of securing his second Premier League title for the Porcupine Warriors, would step down at the end of the current campaign, according to sources at the Kumasi-based club. The former Ghana female under-17 trainer has decided against renewing his contract with the club when it expires at the end of the current campaign. The news will come as a massive boost to Hearts of Oak, who have been heavily linked with a highly rated trainer. The capital-based side failed in their bid to lure him to the club after David Duncan was dismissed, but will reignite their interest in the man who is believed to be interested in crossing carpet to the capital. Hearts are in the market scouting for a new coach and see Dramani as the ideal man to turn around their downward spiral, which has seen them without a trophy since 2008. It's widely believed the former African champions won't renew the 6-month mandate of embattled Mohamed Polo when it expires at the end of the season after a turbulent time at the club. Dramani was signed by former chairman Dr. Kofi Kodjo Sapong in 2002 after guiding the Black Maidens to win a historic bronze medal at the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup in Azerbaijan the same year. The UEFA License A holder only agreed to stay after Dr. Sapong resigned his post over constant allegations of financial malfeasance.
All right, so now time to talk about the UEFA Champions League. And of course, I've been joined by Israel. Let's do some, really interesting results.
Yeah. So there were two games.
Okay. PSG up against Chelsea. And then there was Real Madrid up against Borussia Dortmund.
Okay, it turned out that Chelsea lost by
3 goals to 1. And Real Madrid beat Borussia Dortmund.
Music quartet Alabaster Box has been recounting some of its successful moments in their music career on BBC's Focus on Africa. We bring you excerpts of their event. Beautiful performance there. That's it for showbiz. But the IMF has for the first time warned that Ghana and other African countries risk being vulnerable to global financial shocks due to their over-reliance on foreign investors. According to the Bretton Woods institution, foreign investors can pull out their capital at short notice when economic conditions become unfavorable to them. Are local businesses and governments in the position to cushion the economy in the event of such events? A chartered economist, African Affairs analyst Paul Frimpong speaks to Nanansa Kwao, 9 p.m. on PM Express on the subject. On phone will be a Deputy Minister of Finance and Economic Planning, Castle Atuk-Forsing. You can also join in the conversation with your comments.
Showbiz.
Statistics indicate a reduction in crime in Accra, officials say, is due to increased police presence. Monetary Policy Committee of Bank of Ghana maintains policy rate at 18%. Judgment Debt Commission calls off Wednesday sitting after no show by 3 scheduled witnesses. Telecom operators blame fake and substandard mobile phones for poor quality service. And individuals and businesses advised to insist on genuine products and warranty guarantees when making purchases. That'll be all for the bulletin. My name is Israel. Have a good evening.